Okay, you ready to go, bestie? Let's see if I
Four.
can. The cold open in this one is just gonna be me asking you how many pages of notes you think I took.
I'm gonna go with a solid 3.5.
A solid two, like right to the end of page two.
Well, I wasn't that far off.
I'm very proud of myself. I didn't take much notes on like uh sexy times. I just went threesome. Oh, another threesome. Another threesome. Most of it's just plot stuff.
And this
Um,
is what I tell you, I don't remember anything about the other one.
don't worry, I'll go into it because there may be people who haven't listened to the first one, but if they are there and listen, I can't upload them onto YouTube until I get my charger, so cough, cough. I'm feeling fine by that. But when it does get up on YouTube, there is a whole entire playlist of Katie Roberts that's just like right there, up above the cards. And I'll also put the first one of the series. This is the last one of the series that's out indefinitely. I'm very sad. Very
Well,
sad.
at least you can hear me swallow today.
I also high key think that this whole series is supposed to be thruples. Because the first one was thruples, this one's thruples. Cohen, I think, was gonna be thruples from what I gathered. I'll talk about it because like it's mentioned in this one because that's the next one, right? And then there's also Ezekiel, one of the other brothers, has two lovers in this one, and there's like history with them. And I think Gregory's
The
the
covers of
youngest.
these are really pretty, by the way.
So like I think this is just a thruple series, which I love for me. Thank you, Katie Robert. Anyways, welcome to a Fish and Flower podcast. I don't remember the intro. I gotta try to do this off the top of my head because I still don't have my computer charger. I am Flower, aka Rose. My fun fact of the day is this new trick my sister has been trying to train new tricks with the dogs, right? And Ivy Dog has this new trick where if you put your hand out in like a fist and just lay it out in front of you, she will walk up to you and just lightly lay her nose up against your fist.
I love Ivy Dog. I need to give Ivy Dog a kiss on his head, but I can't. I'm actually gonna cry.
I thought you'd appreciate that, bestie.
She's so mean to me. She tortured me with the fact that I can't give an Ivy Dog a kiss off her head.
Don't worry. I'll send you after this. I'll send you a video of me doing it. Bella can low key do it, but
I
Ivy's much
also
better.
want to give Bella Dog a kiss on her head. Don't worry, I won't discriminate between the Rose Doggy Woggy.
Okay, give your fun fact with your muffled talking.
I'm sorry.
See, when you
Also,
scream, it's perfect.
oh my god, I can't tell a lot of speaking because I have earbuds in. You forgot to mention that this is a stream of conscious podcast.
I do that after the intros.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't remember anything. I remember anything when we record. No, it exits my brain as soon as it's happening.
I believe in you.
I'm not responsible for anything I said because I don't remember it.
Okay, I believe in you. Do your intro.
Hi, my name is Fish, aka Stingray. I feel like someone's gonna turn that really mean one day and ask me if I smell like fish. The answer is no. Anyways, my fun fact of the day is I actually do like green tea because I'm at my grandma's currently. And I said, hey, I mean, she has coffee. I just didn't want to do a whole pot because she doesn't have any instant left. So I was like, okay, I'll just drink some tea. It's not that bad. I did put some sugar in it, but like the first time I had green tea was absolutely disgusting. But I
Yeah,
think I just want warm drink, so it's not bad.
yeah. This is very much a Stream of Consciousness podcast, very similar to how we talk to each other on a daily basis. On today's episode, we have the second book out of the two books that are out of what was supposed to be seven of the Speen Valley series by Katie Robert, which means this is the last Katie Robert until May of next year.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, this is this book. Okay, so how do I explain this book? This book is a
You're
wild
right.
time. Um, I'm gonna explain the connection to the first book of the series, I guess. Because that's kind of what's important. I do bring up Malone a little bit because the one of the main characters is Malone's niece, right? From Queen Takes Rose of the last book in the Wicked Village series. Oh my God, there's people playing with dogs in the background. Um, and then,
Like white people. Anyway.
um, and then Abel. So the plot, which is also how this book starts, is basically the Payne brothers, the seven brothers that this series follows alphabetically by their names. They're all like alphabet, right? That's why Abel first, Broderick second, and then Cohen, and then I don't remember after that.
Are we going to, is there a whole alphabet of brothers or just a certain set of brothers? Could you imagine 26?
It's just seven, my dude. It's just seven. So basically,
That's not fun. Why not the whole alphabet? If you're in alphabetical order.
the three other facts.
Oh! Sorry, I didn't know you did. Very important fact. Um, if you don't know, we have a deep lore with To Be Devoured.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
book about cannibalism, gay cannibalism, okay? Um, I posted a mood board about it on my mood board account. You can follow it at stingray affliction. The second eye is an owl. The second eye in affliction. Let me be clear. There's three eyes altogether in stingray affliction. I know how to spell things.
I believe in
And
you.
who would have thought that I tagged the author and then she commented on it. She approved. Don't worry. That's my second author notice. Hello.
I love how my main author notice is I forget his name, who wrote Aristotle and Dante series, right? Duology. About my review for the first one, where I was like, this was made. I get why people
I
like it, but it wasn't for me.
that.
And then I read the second one, and I literally sobbed, and I rated it 5 stars, and I was like, please. The way he
I still need to read it.
the way he was like, just liked my review of the first one, but like I never posted a review for the second one, so he doesn't know. He doesn't know that I'm obsessed with the second one.
I'll post a review for the second one when he knows if he redeemed himself for you personally.
Okay.
Um,
I didn't even
Also,
tag
if
him.
you want to know, the other one was Aaron A. Craig.
Mm. Did you see the sequel to Saltos? Uh, you know the one, Sorrows. What am I? That one. Uh,
House of Reasons.
yeah, the sequel is in the Goodreads Choice Awards.
Yes, I saw that. Will I vote in any of that shit? Probably not. I gotta be real.
I love how there's a romantasy section now. I died laughing.
I
I also love how there's basically no gay or authors of color in the romance section. You know, just
are we surprised? It's
no.
good read.
True. Yeah.
If Storybook had one, it would be better.
True. Okay. Back to this book. So basically the plot is that the background plot is that the three other factions did not approve of the Payne's father's ruling, so they killed him off. Basically drugged a bunch of people and then burnt them alive in a building. Um, and the brothers
Good.
barely escaped and have been on the run since, and they've come back a decade later, um, nearly a decade later, to take back their territory and defeat them. And part of that is to do the uh, bride ceremony, whatnot, where you can fight people, and then if you win, you get a bride for a year. And like you just have to consummate it once, and that's basically it for the rules. But basically, the whole point of it is that if you choose someone, you can't like choose the leader of a faction, but if you like choose their child, who's their heir, assumably they won't attack you because then they would also kill their child and whatnot. And so that's the whole thing. So basically Abel fights a bunch of people, wins 7 times, and they get technically 8 brides because he gets a second one in Abel. It's not important. It's just that's a thing in that episode. So They each have a bride of importance to the factions. Broderick's bride is Monroe, the heir to the Amazon faction. Um, and that's the importance. This book does
God.
start on the night where they do it, where basically, uh, she instantly notices that he has a thing for his best friend Shiloh, who works as one of the security people. And also the consummation is.
Am I hearing things? Am I correcting the assumption? Am I stupid or am I remembering things?
I don't know. Um, the consummation is fast and hard, which is not normally how Broderick does it, and that's like it that we got for like that. And then it cuts to 3 weeks
No,
later.
I did this. I'm these characters I've seen because I've read a few. or am I crazy? Or am I getting things mixed up? That's what I'm asking for.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know anything anymore, bestie.
Are
Um,
these not the same characters?
no. Well, they're same characters from the last book, like different characters, but connect.
No, I mean, oh my god, never mind. Never mind.
Okay. Um, no, it's different
Let me,
characters.
let me do some research, because apparently you don't know what the hell is going on.
I never know what's going on. Why do you see? You seem to think that I know what's going on, but it's only you that thinks that.
You're the Katie Robert expert. You're the residential Katie Robert expert.
That is true. I am an expert. I love how she's coming out with this sulky vampire sapphic romance a week after my birthday. Also, that cover is so me coded. I'm so
I'm
excited.
sorry. No, no, I'm not crazy, because isn't one of Malone's
I told you,
security
yes, it's
people
Malone's
named
niece.
Shiloh?
It's Malone's niece. Monroe is Malone's niece. It was very fun writing out the notes because I kept on typing Malone instead. I was like, no, it's Monroe, not Malone.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's her mom's sister is Malone. Uh, that's like kind of a thing where the last book in that series talks about the events that happened in the first book in this series a bit, where like Malone's like, oh no, like should I help them out? But there's nothing to do because like technically everything they're doing is legal and right and all this stuff. Anyways, I'm gonna talk about content warnings for this book because it's kind of very important. We
Is
have the
anyone
normal
serious?
sexual content, uh, but right after sexual content is child abuse.
Oh,
Violence, murder, physical abuse, death of parent, death, infertility, and infidelity. Yeah. So
LOL.
child abuse is very, 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 very prevalent in this book to the point where I did not feel the way that Katie Robert wrote it. I did not feel icky about it. I just don't like it.
Boys
Which is why
have
I gave it
sexy.
3 stars. But the whole entire plot and basically everything happens is based around Shiloh's abuse as a child.
Not the dog barking. I am I blind? I thought you gave it 4 stars, or did you give it 3.5 and 4 on the booth, or what happened there? Or am I just blind?
I don't know. I'm blind.
I mean, I haven't gotten new glasses in over 5 years, so it's probably just me.
Same. But yeah, so like child abuse, child abuse is very prevalent. Um, Kind of the background of the whole entire plot is basically surrounding that abuse. And like normally, a lot of times when authors do that, it does make me feel icky. I did not feel icky. I think it was respectfully and well done. I just don't enjoy
Well, I
reading
feel
books like
like
that.
sometimes child abuse in books should make you feel icky.
Mm. No, it makes me icky when authors do it in an unrespectful way, or something. Like she very prevalently makes it obvious that one, it's not the child's fault. Victim blaming, bad thing. Don't do that. Um, and a bunch
Well,
of other things that like makes it very
yes.
clear that her, I don't want to say her views on it, but like the feelings that you should feel about this situation and whatnot.
Oh, I feel like there's different kinds. It when it comes to the topic of child abuse. So yeah.
But yeah, that's a thing that I'm gonna have to talk about. So if you don't want to hear about that, completely fine. Just know that they end up together happily ever after the end. I rated it 3 stars, and you can just skip to another episode. Okay, like it's fine. You can't, Bessie, but the
Meaning, you
people
have so
listening
many
can.
episodes you can listen to. We even did double 2 months in a row. We're gonna do double episodes 3 months next year. I'm so excited. Help
I'm not.
me.
I was looking at February, and I was like, why is there so much stuff on my calendar for February? And then I went, ah, shit, I'm a dumbass. That's what. Ugh.
Well, at least we know what holidays are important to us.
Yeah, Valentine's Day, Gay Month, and October, Halloween.
You mean gay, gay, and gay.
Yeah, there are very many gays in all three of those. I hope you know.
I really need to get started on February, or else I'm gonna have a breakdown.
Same. You know what's gotta happen? I gotta show you Pride and Prejudice.
Oh my god.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna die of happiness. And also,
Respectfully,
I'm
I'm
just gonna
done
be
with it.
crying. I'm gonna have my camera on while we watch it together so you can see me sobbing and also mouthing the words.
I just know one day I'm gonna read it for you, and you're gonna combust.
Yeah. Okay. This book. So after the hand fasting marriage thing, right? Cuts to 3 weeks later. Shiloh is basically Monroe's personal guard slash fancy babysitter. And so there was like this whole thing in April where some of the brides, because a lot of the brides are heirs to factions and whatnot, so like they have actual work they have to do. So they made this whole thing where like as long as they have a guard with them who's watching over them and make sure they don't do anything, um, they can go and do their jobs. So Monroe has meetings with her mother a lot about things going on in the Amazon factions and whatnot, and Shiloh's usually the guard with her. Um, and we learn almost instantly that, from Shiloh's point of view, that Monroe's mother had something to do with Shiloh's parents. It's like assumed abuse. Like at that point, you don't exactly know what happened, but you do get the inkling that there was abuse, um, and there's scars, and you basically instantly know that Monroe's mother knew about it, and she's heavily scared every time she's at one of these meetings that Monroe's mother will recognize her as the child of these people, um, and do something, which also means that Shiloh is also an Amazon. um,
Am I crazy, or has Kitty Roberts used the name Silo more than once?
this is the first time I've seen her use the name Shiloh in ones that I've read.
Okay, then I'm just crazy. I'm insane. Good to know. I
uh,
I hallucinated that. I really that's not a joke. I do see it. No one's ever adjusted it. I'm fine.
okay.
I'm coping.
It's
Oh
almost
no.
immediately. It's almost
I'm
immediately mentioned that she
I
has.
need to stop commenting mid
Okay.
podcast.
It's almost immediately mentioned that she has scars on her legs, which is why her legs are always covered, no matter what's happening. Um. So after the meeting,
I cannot trauma them.
Monroe takes Shiloh out for drinks. And Monroe is slightly upset that Broderick hasn't talked to her since the night of the consummation and whatnot. From his point of view, it's because he went like fast and hard and dangerous and dark sex, and he's like the more caring of the brothers. His whole entire life has been basically raising the other brothers younger than him, so he's very much the more caring one. And so having dark sex where he's not instantly caring, is new to him, and he doesn't like how she brought that out in him. So yeah, he's been avoiding her, and that upsets her. Um, so
See, could you imagine being the middle kid and seven, the middle of the middle kid of 7 siblings? That's multiple middle kids.
yeah, so her plan is to seduce Shiloh, partially to piss Broderick off because he's in love with Shiloh, but also just because she likes Shiloh. She's all like, "You're hot, I want that." Um, so uh, around this point, we also learned that Shiloh's parents were religious, highly religious. Basically, from what I understand, they were basically like royalty in the Amazon territory. They were basically the priests and whatnot, and their specific god that they preached was the goddess of purity, which will come up.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Um, they have some. Okay, so Shiloh and Monroe start heavily making out in the restroom of the bar.
Hell yeah.
Uh, Shiloh comes, Monroe does not. Every time I have to stop myself from saying Malone instead. Um, and then when they re-enter the bar proper, Broderick is there looking very angry because it's very obvious what they've been doing because of Monroe's lipstick all over Shiloh. Obviously he's jealous and
Yeah.
he goes to refuse Shiloh and Monroe hanging out anymore, and it pisses off Shiloh because she's like, you can't control what I do and why do you care all of a sudden and stuff like this, and he's upset because he is very sure that Monroe knows that he cares for Shiloh, and she's using that against him, and that's what's happening. And so he's like, I don't want her to use you. And she's like, listen, I know who she is. I'm getting something out of it too. And she doesn't know that he likes her, and that's why he's scared. So it's like this whole thing where they're fighting now. And so she storms off, and Monroe makes a deal with Broderick that she won't tempt Shiloh anymore, and if she still comes to her, uh, and like comes to Monroe to have fun times, then Broderick will be hers for a week. Um, Cool. Monroe's so Shiloh gets back to the compound before the others, and Monroe learns that I forget what her name is. I wrote it down. I wrote it down somewhere in these notes. Winry, that's her name. Winry, uh, Monroe's younger sister, who is like kind of this sweet younger sister, never had to be like trained heavily in any of the Amazon stuff, because like Monroe was the heir, so there's like no point. Um, is Cohen's bride. He is the labeled as the most dangerous of them all and the darkest of them all. And also, she's on her period. And he's like
Oh,
upset.
Lord.
Yeah, no. So Shiloh comes back to the compound, goes to talk to Cohen. Cohen's clearly upset, and she's like, "What's happening?" And he's like, "Well, she's on her period." And she's like, "What the hell did you do?" And he's like, "Well, she seemed very self-conscious about it, so I told her I didn't care about a little bit of blood. I'd still fuck her."
Oh god.
And so she threw a lamp at his head.
She's so real for that. I love her. I don't know who she is, but I love her.
Me too. Literally, this is not important to the plot at all, but I wrote it down because I found it so funny.
It's important to the plot. I don't care.
So yeah, she's like,
That's
dude, shut the
coffee. I don't
fuck up.
care.
Figure out her favorite snacks and get it for her, and apologize deeply. Um, right. So we learned that Broderick has nightmares at the fire that
I
killed
want to lamp one day. I feel in a lot of things. There's never a lamp. So it's so sad.
Broderick. Still has nightmares of the fire from that night. And occasionally smells smoke when he's stressed. And hints that Shiloh's own parents.
Real.
Oh yeah. So there's more hints at Shiloh's abuse. Um, we also learn at this point that Broderick doesn't know that she's originally from Savine Valley. Um, he doesn't know where she's from, so that's important. Uh, at this point, I recognized the narrator from Monroe's character, and I found it very important to inform you. She voiced Meg in Learn My Lesson, and Harlow, the female main character in the last book in the series, Abel. Have fun.
Okay.
So Shiloh comes into Monroe's room where Broderick isn't staying. Broderick's staying in like a living room basically, to avoid Monroe. So Shiloh just comes in and she's like, "Hey, I have to get ready for this thing and I have to change." So she just like takes off her shirt right in front of Monroe. And Monroe's just there, just like ooga ooga. Um, and then Shiloh goes to take a shower. Uh, and then while Shiloh's in the shower, she's thinking about spicy things, playing with herself. And then Shiloh comes back in. They have this sweet conversation. Shiloh's only in a towel, which means her legs are bare, which means Monroe sees her legs, therefore the scars, which we learn are burns, and she instantly recognizes that they're like not like random patterns, like they're very obvious patterns, which means they were done purposefully.
Hmm.
Yep. Um,
Burn her a crystal malaroni too. What did I just say?
I don't know. Uh, Monroe threatens to
Listen,
kill whoever did this to Shiloh.
home. But I still feel the stuff out loud.
Monroe threatens to kill whoever did this to Shiloh, but not only that, but also the whole entire town for not noticing or doing anything. Um, so yeah. This is where we learned that Shiloh's parents were basically the head of the religious group in the Amazon faction. Uh, And Monroe, they have this whole debate thing where Monroe's all like, "Listen, Amazons protect their children. They only care about their children. There's it's very rare that you find child abuse in the Amazon faction, and when you do, like, we make certain that they're punished, and we protect the children and all this stuff." And the whole time, like, uh, Shiloh was fighting against that, and she doesn't understand why. And it's because Shiloh literally was an Amazon, like a child in the Amazon faction who was abused. And at this point, it's I think, uh,
What?
it's like low key. Oh yeah, this at this point, it's like heavily hinted that Monroe's mother knew about the abuse officially. Like at this point, she basically says, "Yeah, your mom," like in her head, in her internal monologue, she's like, "Your mom knew." And she just ignored it. So they don't protect their children. That's just what you believe. But you have like there's like this whole thing where Monroe has rose-colored glasses to this whole thing. Um, so like it pisses Shiloh off. Um, and then they have spicy times. And then Broderick comes in, walks in, and then almost immediately leaves. um, and then Abel comes up to him and threatens to kill Monroe in a quote unquote accident if Broderick doesn't fix things. Um, and then Monroe the next morning, I think it's the next morning, uh, him and Monroe start having a conversation, and he's all like, "Stay away from Shiloh," and she's like, "No, I will not. I kind of like her," and he's like, "Fine." And so then, literally, the first thing he does that we read about after Abel threatens to fix things, like to kill her if he doesn't fix things, is go and fuck Monroe in a public hallway. To quote my notes, apparently fixing things is fucking Monroe in a public hallway.
Good to know.
Uh, so Monroe's happy about the whole like her whole plan of being in the middle between Broderick and Shiloh is causing them to fight. Think that like it's kind of her plan is to make them fight to cause some tension in the group. But also she's kind of feeling down about the whole being in the middle of their game of tug of war. It doesn't like make her feel good and whatnot. Uh, so eventually she gets them to agree to allow her to have a meeting with the other Amazon brides, which is Winry, her younger sister, and also her uncle, who is the bride of. I think his name is Jasper. He's the bride of Ezekiel, and the whole background with them is that Jasper, Ezekiel, and Mystic were a throuple before everything happened, and then everything happened, and Ezekiel tried to like figure out what happened to them. He got really upset when he learned they weren't coming after him, and then he learned that they decided to still be together without him. Uh, and he's like very pissed. That's a whole thing. Um, in the background of this book happening. So yeah. So also at this point, I remembered that Cohen is Beast's ex from the Beast book, right? I forget that until like randomly my brain will remember that, and then I go, "Oh shit, yeah, that's right," and then freak out.
LOL.
We also learn at this point that Rinry is also sleeping with Cohen's best friend, hinting at that book also being a throuple. This is why I'm saying I think the whole series is throuples.
This is irrelevant, but my grandma is having soup and I'm sad.
Okay. Um, there's a hint that the
What's the
Amazons are
reference?
planning revenge, and Monroe's uncle doesn't agree with that, knowing they deserve what's coming to them because they fuck shit up with the pain. So like he's like, um, there's hints that Cohen actually like cares for Winry, uh, which makes me sad about the lack of Cohen book. I'm so sad. I want it. Katie Rubber, I know you have too many things happening. I know you have like 16 bajillion books coming out every year, but please, please. Um,
I want to be as productive as you and Katie Roberts for real.
the brothers learn Monroe knows about
Oh,
Shiloh's scars.
hi. Why do the neighbors still have their pool uncovered? It's November.
Uh huh.
I'm sorry. I had to put the dog out.
So the brothers learn that Monroe knows about Shiloh's scars and the basic story behind it. Because they're all like threatening her to stay away from Shiloh, that she doesn't understand what she's been through. And she's like, "You mean her scars that I've seen?" Yeah, she told me that her parents did it. Monroe and Broderick have a nice conversation where she helps him figure out how much of a dick he has been. So he properly apologizes to Shiloh. and she tries to get them to admit their feelings for each other. Instead, Broderick admits that Abel plans to kill Monroe. Monroe just starts hysterically laughing at that. And Shiloh starts panicking about this. Monroe's mother doesn't. There's some stuff happening in Monroe's POV where internally, she's upset because her mother doesn't seem to trust her anymore since becoming a bride. There's like this whole thing later on where her mother is upset that like she's friends with her uh, husband and whatnot, quote unquote. Um, but like and isn't like helping out the faction as much and all this stuff, and is like she's buddy buddy with all these people that are enemies, but she doesn't care that, like, she literally says, but you don't care that I'm fucking them, and then she's like, well, your brides are important part of the society, blah blah blah, and she's like, yeah, but you also don't trust me because I'm a bride now, so like, yeah, that's just the whole thing that's happening in Monroe's head throughout this whole entire book. Every once in a while, just know that Monroe and Broderick have spicy times as Shiloh is in the room and watches, and then she gets herself off at Monroe's orders, and then we get the first threesome at 52% through the book. Uh, oh, the way I write notes sometimes is so funny. I can't wait till you host with my notes. That's gonna be so good. Apparently, this is actually
I'm scared to do that.
you're gonna
I
love it.
will. You just spoiled it. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
You
to
have.
quote my notes, actually, apparently this is actually a fantasy since Broderick finds Shiloh's G spot within 5 seconds.
I just had to sit down.
This is my favorite fantasy novel of the year.
Anyways, the dog usually wants to come in like right after the outside the chair. She wants to be outside today. But I was staying with her for a while because I didn't want her to be like, you know. But she'll be fine. She's a dog.
Yeah.
She's nice and fine. She's
Uh,
32 pounds. 32 pounds. My pain.
um, more
Anyway,
of Monroe trying to make them admit their feelings, but instead they just agree to have fun with Monroe and occasionally both at the same time. Uh, so Monroe makes a plan to have Broderick seduce Shiloh with her as proxy. Monroe is starting to feel attachment to them both, but mostly Shiloh. It's mostly both Monroe and Broderick having a thing for Shiloh, and Shiloh having a thing for both of them, and then them like kind of liking each other. Like
that
they
is
say at the end that they love each other, and I'm just like, I don't believe it. 0%.
where.
Um, there's mentions of how her mother isn't very affectionate, and so like they're both clearly caring for Monroe and wanting to protect her from Abel and all this stuff. Uh, and also the cuddling that happens a lot in this book, and how that makes her feel loved in a way that like her mother's never felt made her feel, because her mother isn't a very affectionate person. That's just a thing that I noticed at the end.
Oh, oh my god, not the voice. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. It was funny. Okay. I'm okay, I promise. I'm so normal.
Are you sure about that? At the next Amazon meeting, Monroe's mother threatens
I don't
to
care.
kill Broderick for Abel's threatening. Basically at this point they realize there's a mole. Because um Monroe didn't tell her mom, and so like who told Monroe's mom, and all this stuff. Yay. Um, they learned that when they talk about it. So basically, she's like, if anything happens to you, if Abel actually does kill
Oh
you,
my
I
god, is
will.
that a boost emoji?
Oh my god, I will kill
Sorry,
Broderick.
I'm still finding new emojis on my new phone. Okay, bestie, leave me alone.
Um, but yeah, she's like that will happen. And then Monroe's like, but Winry and also your brother Jasper are also there. And she's like, I don't care. I don't care about you because you're my heir. They're not my heir. And also they're Amazons. They can handle themselves. And Monroe's like, bitch, what the fuck? I can handle myself. I don't want you to start a war that will cause them to be harmed. Like, um, and then after the meeting, Monroe's mother corners Shiloh, and Victim blames her for not running, for running instead of telling anyone about the abuse, so other children got hurt. And they actually told, so they were able to dole out punishment, but she lets it slip that she didn't know the extent. That's exact quotes. Um,
Um,
so also there's like a part mentioned earlier where Shiloh internal monologue talks about how Monroe's mother saw her like heavily emaciated and barely alive. So what extent
hello?
do you talk about, fam? Like what do you mean know the extent? But Shiloh's brain clicks when she says didn't know the extent. That's a direct quote, which means she did know about the abuse. She just didn't think it was quote unquote bad enough.
Hello?
Uh-huh. So Shiloh's like, bitch, what the fuck? This is not a good look for you. I can totally tell everyone if you want. Um, After she tries to be like, you can't tell anyone because like you're not telling what your parents did to you, made it so other children were abused, and that's a bad. And she's like, bitch, shut the fuck up. You knew about it, and you just blatantly said you did, and then tried to hide that you said that, which means you knew about it and you just let them continue, which means I could tell everyone that, and all this stuff. And Monroe's mother is all like, "Listen, it's all in the past. Forget about it." And she was like, "Bitch, no." And so she's like, "Fine, if you won't stay quiet about it on choice, I will have you killed."
Sexy girl. Wow. She walked away.
That's very important for the whole entire scene that I just talked about. Right after this meeting, uh, they go out to drinks again with Broderick, and she decides to play a game of Truth or Dare,
Oh my god.
in
Are
which
we
it
in middle
very quickly
school?
becomes sexual, like within 5 seconds.
No shit. What else do you play that for in something like this?
They move the threesome to the compound. Monroe realizes she's in love with Shiloh. They decide to do public displays of affection
The
to
one
make.
thing I don't like about these books is how quickly they're like, "Oh my god, I love you."
I know, right?
Like normal in
Be
your
so real.
head.
Um,
What is
there's
it,
like
man?
this whole thing about Broderick and Shiloh have been in love with each other, but the other one doesn't really know it this whole time. But the way that Monroe just comes in is like, I love Shiloh too, and I guess Broderick's cool, and they're both like, I love you also. It's just a thing, and I'm like, hello, it's been like 4 weeks. Um, so
Okay, like I'm mentally ill, but I'm not mentally ill enough to express the fact I love someone that quickly.
so
Even if I do.
they decide to do public displays of affection, like out on the street and whatnot, to make Abel and Monroe's mother to stop playing some wars and whatnot. Good times. Um, so after some more meetings, Monroe notices how Shiloh is fearful whenever they're in the Amazon faction. She starts questioning her. And Shiloh's pushing back because Shiloh doesn't want to tell her, doesn't want her to know that her mother was the one who let the abuse happen. She doesn't want it to upset Monroe. Um, so Monroe, in an attempt to make Shiloh talk, admits that she's in love with Shiloh, and so Shiloh agrees. Okay, I'll show you my childhood home tomorrow. Uh, and she says it to Broderick too, which is code for she's gonna admit she's actually an Amazon. Um, and then they're all sad about how the relationship is only temporary because after the year-long bride thing, uh, Monroe has to go back to her faction, and technically Shiloh can pick which one to be with, but that means she has to pick, and there's no way they can be a throuple after this. So sad. I literally have a paragraph left of notes. How much do you want to bet they find a way to be a throuple in the end?
Uh, I mean, I don't like I understand like the concept of happens, but I don't understand why they can't extend it longer. It like becomes I don't know. And I
Uh,
think Lexi's girl is sad because Nana is not here.
so Shiloh
Why?
Shiloh takes
Why?
Shiloh takes them to her childhood home. They instantly notice that, hey, you're not driving out of the city. And they're like, oh shit, you're from Sabine Valley. And then they realize, oh shit, you're an Amazon. And then they get to the house, and Monroe's like, oh shit, I was the one to kill Shiloh's parents.
Why did you tell
Apparently,
me that before? Did I just
apparently a few years after Shiloh ran away, um, they learned of her parents abusing other children, and so she was sent to take care of it
other
by her
children that
mother.
weren't there?
And so she straight up killed them and burned down the building.
No, other children that weren't there.
Yeah,
Oh Lord.
Yeah, it's heavily hinted that it's very much like typical Christian priest. We all know the stuff that happens. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Um, so yeah, that happens.
Good,
Monroe's
good
like,
moment to
oh
mention that I
shit.
agree.
And then Monroe blames herself, and Shiloh's like, "It's not your fault. You're 3 years younger than me, or I think it's 3 years younger. You couldn't have done." Also, there's like this whole thing where when Shiloh was 19, she had her tubes tied or something, so she can't have children.
Respectfully, I hate when you get in the grieving that I can't speak. This is when I announce the fact. I feel like the majority of religions are cults, no matter which way you view them. Anyways, continue.
Okay. So after they all talk about all the shit, they're all hugging and crying, and then a mystic attacks and shoots Shiloh with a poison dart. Want to tell you there were 19 minutes left in the audiobook.
Hello?
Monroe instantly goes after the mystic, uh, while Broderick holds Shiloh as she's literally dying in his arms, and he like calls up his brother Abel, and Abel's like, "Hey, I can't give her the antidote because one, she's an Amazon, and two, you're in Amazon territory, so that would count as a war. Um,
What the
uh,
hell?
yeah, that would count as the motion towards war and stuff. Um, Monroe catches up with the Mystic, tackles him, and she's like, "Which one's the antidote to the poison?" And he's like, "I don't know. Who are you talking about, bitch?" So she stabs him with his own poison dart. And then,
LOL.
so because of that, he has to give himself the antidote. So then she learns which one is the antidote. And then she beats him to death,
LOL.
leaves him in the middle of the street,
LOL.
takes the antidote to Broderick, and then they force Shiloh to take the antidote, and she's just like, fine after that. Um, Now here's the thing: they're in the center of like Amazon territory, which means he had to have permission to get that far, and the only person that could give him that permission, that's not like a bride, is her mother, which means that her mother just tried to assassinate her lover because she knew that she was gonna tell Monroe about everything, and basically, she was trying to silence a victim of abuse by killing her. And as
What
you can
the
imagine,
heck?
Monroe's pissed.
Yes, I agree.
Um, she has Broderick pick up the dead mystic's body, put it in the car. They go back to her family home where her mother is. They literally drag the body in front of all the Amazons, so they can't like her mother can't like bury uh it down and whatnot of what she did. So she goes up to her mother and she's all like, if you don't step down, I will tell everyone the truth, and then everyone will leave you and you will have no power anymore and all this stuff." So her mother's forced to step down and give her uh label as Queen of the Amazons. But it's very clear as soon as her mother says, "Okay, you're queen now," that her mother had this was all her mother's plan, basically to make Monroe step up and take the throne so that then she can't be a bride anymore, because she can't be a bride if she's head of a faction, and therefore it gets her out of the house, and that's all she cares about.
Oh,
Yep. So then so Broderick and Shiloh just return back to their compound, and they're just sad because they left Monroe and there's nothing they can do and blah 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 blah. And then Broderick's like, "You know what? I'm leaving you guys. I'm going to Monroe." And Shiloh's like, "Hell yeah, let's go to Monroe." And so he's all like, "I'm not gonna let anyone's secrets go through me. I will not tell the Amazons any of our Payne family secrets, and I will not tell the Payne family any of the Amazon secrets. I'm just gonna be fucking my woman and have a good time." And Monroe's like, "Thanks, guys. I love you. I'm gonna make you my official consorts." And so now legally, it's basically the closest thing to like marriage in the Amazon territory. So basically, they're both her spouses. Um, the end. That's it. She literally goes, "I'm gonna make you a consorts." That's the end of the book. That's how it
um,
ends. Literally her saying, "I'm making you consorts." The end. Um, And that's how the book ends. I rated it 3 stars. I did not go into heavy detail about the abuse in specifics. You're welcome. The end.